Hello students, in this video we will discuss about name resolution. So a domain name system, it will provide a service called directory service, and this directory service is provided by the DNS with the help of DNS servers. DNS server will contain the mapping of host names and domain names to the IP address. DNS name resolution means resolving host names. That means the corresponding host name will be converted into an IP address and the IP address will be converted to the host names. For example, if we want to convert or if we have a host name www.example.com, this particular URL will be converted into the corresponding IP address, and this is known as name resolution. The process of locating naming data from one among more than one name servers in order to resolve a name is called navigation. That means we have a host name and this host name has to be converted into a corresponding IP address. So the user system will search for any of the name servers which contain the IP address of the corresponding host name. So the process of finding out the corresponding name server which contains the IP address of a particular host name is called navigation. And the different navigation methods are iterative navigation, multicast navigation, server control navigation. And the two criteria or two varieties of server control navigation are recursive navigation and non-recursive navigation. So the first one is iterative navigation. In this case, first the client will give a name or host name to the local name server so that the local name server will try to resolve it. That means will convert it into the corresponding IP address. And if the local name server has the name, it will return the result immediately. If it does not have, it will suggest another server, and DNS will support this iterative navigation. Resolution continues until the name is resolved or name found to be unbounded. Let us see this with an example. Suppose we have a host name www.example.com and the client is having the host name. So first client will contact the local name server, say NS1. If NS1 is having the corresponding IP address, it will return the result immediately to the client. And if it is not having a result or if it is not having the corresponding IP address, it will give some referrals to the other name servers. So NS1 will give a referral to name server 2 if it does not have the result. So the client will contact NS2 for resolving the host name. If NS2 is having the result, it will respond with the result. Otherwise, it will give a referral to another name server, say NS3. So the client will contact NS3. Like that, this process will repeat until the name is resolved. That means the IP address of the corresponding host name is found. This is iterative navigation. Next is multicast navigation. In this multicast navigation, the client will multicast the host name which has to be resolved to a group of name servers, and the name server which is having the result, which is having the IP address, will respond. So the next one is non-recursive server control navigation. Here any name server can be chosen by the client. So when a client or a name server receives the query, it will look through its table to find the IP address for the domain. If it does not have the entry, it will communicate by multicast or iteratively with its peers. See the figure, we have a client and we have a host name. So the client will send this to for its local server and name server 1. So if the name server is having the result, it will directly give it to the client. If it is not having, it will multicast this host name to some other name servers. NS1 will give to NS2 and NS3. Which one is having the result? will respond to NS1, and through NS1 the name will be resolved to the client. Next is recursive server controlled navigation. Here also the client will contact a single server. When the query is received, the server will look through its table to find the IP address. If this server does not store the name, server will contact a peer which in turn attempt to resolve it. And this procedure will continue recursively until the host name is resolved. And this is recursive server controlled navigation. Here client will send the host name to NS1, and if NS1 is having, it will respond. If it is not having, it will send that to NS2. It is not multicasting, it is sending it only to NS2. If NS2 can resolve it, NS2 will resolve it via NS1 and will give to client. If NS2 is not having, it will forward it to NS3, name server 3. So if name server 3 can resolve it, it will send the result to NS2. From NS2 it will go to NS1 and then to the client. This is recursive server controlled navigation. Thank you.